the first time, and his eyes kind of like got wide.
Yeah.
Diet Mountain Dew in his water bottle in the national finals. Like, dude
What?
did not drink water.
Shout out to Dopaminio. The bands are amazing. If you guys watch anything of that I post, you guys know I'm always using these things. You can go purchase them at the link in the description below. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Clash of Combat podcast number 3. Today we are joined with Nick Fishback, a Parkside legend. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you guys?
So
Great.
good.
I shouldn't even say how are you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got in the room.
Yeah,
How are you feeling?
It was nice. It's nice to be back, man. It's always the way Nick's running the program right now, and it's always good to come back, and everything's still the same from when I was here, and it's always just good to roll with the Parkside guys. The culture is still the same, so it's fun. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, sure.
It's definitely fun wrestling. It's good to get different looks,
Yeah.
and especially because Nick's in MMA right now, and he's fighting dudes. So he's a bad man. Bad
I
man.
just choke people.
Yeah,
in
he
wrestling.
just jokes people, but definitely good to get a different feel. So
Yeah, man, it was
we had
fun.
some good goes. Good little. Couldn't go real too hard, but
Still nursing something.
Still
so
nursing.
I'll be back. I'll be back in like a couple weeks. We'll check it out.
well, tell us just a little, like, if there's one sentence to describe Nick Fishback, what do you think that would be?
Ooh, that's a good question. One sentence. Let's see. Back in the day, it was probably life of the party, but now, now it's just I'm a family man. I like to work hard at what I like to do, and so I don't know, man. One sentence is hard to sum up everything. I got so
Yeah.
much going on right now.
Yeah.
So just balance. Finding balance with everything I'm doing right now, and just enjoying the process. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you got to have fun at what you're doing, otherwise what's the point? So you guys doing this, it's like it's something you like to do, so
Yeah.
it makes things easy, and that's how you have good success with anything. So just enjoy the process, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And a little more background on Nick. He's a 2-time All-American for Parkside. I don't know if you said
And
that right.
finalist.
And finalist. And so I just want to ask, like, how did you deal with, like, the first-time nerves of when you went to nationals?
Yeah, I was listening to your guys' first podcast and hearing Caden talk about it, and I talked a little bit with that practice, but it's a different ball game, man. It's even playing field. Everybody's there. No records don't mean nothing. Seeds don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
The lights are brighter.
Sure.
You're in an arena. For D2, you don't really wrestle in those arenas, so being on the floor, they do a good job of doing like the NCAA setup and everything. So it's a different world, but it's still wrestling. It's still a wrestling match. So yeah, man, it's fun though. It's like anything. Just enjoy the process, enjoy the moment, and it was fun, man. I enjoyed wrestling, and that's always gonna be my first love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you were All-American twice. It was just the 2 qualifications?
2 qualifications, yeah. I was a match away my freshman and sophomore year. I was wrestling with a giant ACL brace, and there's always injuries come
seriously?
up. So
Mm-hmm.
I was a match away, lost in the blood rounds, and then finally got there. And my coach Matt Gill at the time was like, "You win 2 before you lose 2, and you're an All-American." So that was the goal: win 2 matches before you lose 2. So it's kind of just a mindset I had: is, seeds don't matter, matchups don't matter. Just wrestle whoever's in front of you and win 2 before you lose 2.
Yeah.
Who was your partner during that training and everything?
Me and Nick were the back-to-back,
Yeah.
165, 174. We were running the show that year. Nick elevated my game so much. I mean, I'm sure you guys wrestle with him. It's like
Sure.
his hips, everything.
Yeah.
It's the flow, getting in different positions and scrambling, and he makes you work for everything. So you get that conditioning, that wrestling conditioning in every position, the squeezes, and being in on the legs, getting rolled over and whatnot. So Nick was my main training partner that year. So yeah, we elevated each other's games.
For sure. Definitely. He introduced you today at practice, actually, as one of his closest best friends. So I guess, what does like that dynamic play like in your role still now today, even though you're not in college anymore, family man, and how does that role play?
With like, you have long time friends. You talk every once in a while when we try to meet up. I always will Snapchat message and be like, "What are you up to this weekend?" And to find a time in both of our schedules to
Sure.
meet up is a little harder than it used to be. The relationship stays the same. I can see Nick 2 times a year, and you pick up where you left off. We spent a lot of time together. We lived together for a couple of years. I coached him in a national finals match. You know, he was a big part of the reason I had any success. Him and Craig. You know, we stayed over the summers and grinded out here, wrestling every day. You know, long matches. So, Nick's one of my closest friends. Stood up at my wedding. And our relationship always picks up where it started. So,
Yeah.
it's been good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, transitioning into MMA, I really wanted to hear what you had to say about this. So, my biggest thing that I want to know was, is it harder on your body training MMA, or was it harder for you on your body when you were training in college for wrestling?
It's a good question. Wrestling's definitely more of a grind. But MMA, like, it's a different ball game because you have to do so many different things. You have to practice jiu-jitsu. You got to keep your wrestling sharp. You got to work on your striking, your kicks. And for me, I had to learn all the striking so fast. But I always say there's like nothing that beats your body up like wrestling, like your knees and your shoulders and your neck. I'd like to say wrestling is a little harder on your body, you know, and the way you train, like the way a lot of people train MMA, it's very respective. So it's like, you're not trying to hurt your partner. It's like wrestling, like you flow, and if you have a good partner, they're not trying to knock you out or anything. You know, it's you'll get caught with some kicks. Like one of the first practices, I was training with Dan Argetta, and he front kicked me right in the liver, and it's like you don't know pain until you've been kicked in the liver. It just drops you immediately. It's the craziest thing in the world.
That's why I'm so scared to train MMA or anything, dude. I am a wussy when it comes to anything other than wrestling.
Caden boxed his younger brother. Like, what was that, 2 years ago?
2 years, 1 year, it don't matter.
And he was scared.
It don't matter.
He was scared to get hit by his younger brother.
It was like, it's a whole different, like, experience when someone else is trying to punch you. Like, it's fine, maybe I can try to, you know, think about punching someone in the face, but when their goal is to punch me in the face, I don't want that. So how was, like, your transition from wrestling to go, like, okay, now I'm going to punch him in the face to knock him out? How does that change?
I mean, I've been in some street fights. Like I like to.
Well,
I
do
used
tell.
to like to fight.
Do tell.
Me and Nick have some good stories. Nothing I'm too proud of, but I just always found myself in fights growing up. So I was kind of used to that. But when you train it every day, and there's someone in front of you who's trained to do that, and you know, a lot of the guys you work with, if you're just starting out, they're not gonna just light you up. You know, they're gonna hit you and be like, "See, don't move that way." You know, they're gonna teach you. You know, as you're moving around with them. So I'm still getting used to getting punched in the face. You know, it's not reacting and blinking and fidgeting. So just being calm and trying to see everything. It's been fun. Like you know, as I started MMA, it's like it's scary, right? You have a lot of fear going into practices. Like I was telling you, one of the first times I went to spar was with you know, UFC fighters and Bellator guys, and I'm like, I don't belong in here. These guys are gonna kill me. And then I got a hold of them. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm still in good shape. So, like for now, my thing is get to where I'm good, and then you control the fight. You know, with wrestling, get to your positions, you control the match. So, try not to get punched in the face. It's good. It's a good strategy.
What do you think is harder training? Is it MMA or wrestling?
MMA is like harder. Like technical wise, or
sure, okay, yeah. How about technical side and also just like a conditioning? Because I asked this question because I heard Tyron Woodley say that there's nothing like compares to like wrestling practices.
Not even close. And I tell all the guys at the gym, like, we have a pretty decent like competition team, and I tell them, like, get in good wrestling shape and you're gonna be fine, because you see a lot in these MMA fights, these guys getting scrambles in the first minute or two, and then they're dog tired. You know, their shoulders start dropping, they're a little bit tired. So you get in good wrestling shape, you go through all those scrambles in practice, you know, you push yourself a little bit further each time to exhaust yourself. There's nothing like wrestling shape. No matter what MMA training, you could box 20 rounds of sparring, like, and then you do 2 minutes of wrestling, these guys are like, so wrestling shape wins always. It's the king of MMA. Wrestling is the king.
Absolutely. So,
how old were you when you did like your first MMA practice?
Last year around this time.
Wait, it's only been a year?
Yeah, I've only been training. I started April of last year. I got going on 4 fights. So I'm 29, so I don't got a lot of time to my peak physical state. So I'm playing the catch up game a little bit.
Right. What
So,
took you so long to get in?
That's a good question. Dan did it. My buddy Dan wrestled at Parkside with me. We wrestled in kids high school, Parkside. And then he left right away to go to New Mexico, to go to Jackson Winks. Cub Swanson took him under his wing. He was back from forth to California, New Mexico. And he's always like, you got to come out, you got to come out. And at the time, I had a job and, getting married. And I was like, I was coaching wrestling, which I loved. I love coaching wrestling.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know, man. I didn't really have anything pulling me there. And then we were at our other roommate, Derek Davison's wedding. And he's like, you just come out to California 1 week, please. And I'm like, fine, like whatever, I'll go. And I went out there and trained with those guys. And I was like, this feels right. It gives me purpose. And I'm used to my whole life as training, 2-3 practices a day is what you guys do, and you fit in the rest of your schedule around that. So for my job now to be training multiple times a day and fighting is a dream come true. So it took me longer than it should have, but I believe everything happens for a reason. So I could have beat my body up for those 5 years and been out of the game now. So now I'm trying to train smarter and take care of my body and do it the right way and play a little catch up. So
Yeah. So you're full time in MMA now.
Full time, man. I quit my comfy. I was working construction. They were building me up to be a superintendent. Making good money, pension, benefits in the union.
Oh man.
Very safe.
Yeah.
And I told my boss, I was like, so Dan had asked me to go to the Performance Institute, the UFC Performance Institute, and I was like, that's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I want to go. And it was like 2 days notice, and I told my boss, and he's like, what are we doing here? You've been taking days off, and I was like, I want to fight, and I don't think I could do both with my full heart. So
Right.
he's like, do what you got to do, man. Never looked back. So my wife was very supportive. Shout out to Katie.
Yeah.
I had a house and bills and everything, and she's like, go do it if that's what you want to do. And I trusted myself enough to work hard at this to make it my living. So I'm going for it.
Yeah. That's what we were wondering so she's paying or has a big part in.
Huge part.
Huge part. Yeah.
Huge part. You can't do this alone. Like everyone's like, I made it out the mud by myself, and you can't do that alone.
No.
There's so many people that help you along the way: training partners, gyms, family members. That being gone training 5-6 hours a day takes a lot of sacrifice from the people around you. So she's a huge part in what I'm doing.
Is she scared watching you fight?
Every single fight she's been at, I see her like on the cage, like she's like, "You're okay, baby." And I'm like, she's like talking to me. She's like dodging security and whatnot.
Yeah.
So she says she wasn't nervous, but it looked like she was nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's supportive. She trusts me to get the job done, and if it doesn't go my way, it's not the end of the world. It's just enjoying the process, enjoying the journey. So
Yeah.
she's supportive.
When you go on your like ring walk, like does it even hit you until you're in the octagon, like what's about to happen?
I'm still getting used to that moment. I've only done it 3 times. My first time was out in the middle of a Marines base in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
We pulled up on a school bus, went through security, and they're like, all right, you're up. And then all of a sudden they lock the cage door, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
This is happening. This guy across the cage wants to take me out, and just still getting used to it. The second time, my second fight, I had about 300 people show up to the fight, like everybody I knew.
Oh, man.
And I just remember being like out of my head. The backstage area was like they didn't have it blocked off, so I was warming up with Dan, and like all my family and friends are coming up and saying hi to me, and I'm about to walk out.
Oh no!
That's gotta be horrible.
No!
I remember they're putting the Vaseline on my face, and I remember getting in the cage and being like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, whoa. And just not being ready for that moment. So I take that as a learning experience. And this next time, you got to figure out your process. Like when you warm up for a wrestling match, you got to figure out what works for you, what gets you ready, what do you tell yourself, So I'm still working through that process. But this last one got a lot better. I'm like, it's just a competition, man. Have fun and get out of there quick. Don't get hit.
Yeah. Get out of there quick.
Take them down, beat them up. That's my thing.
Your
Take 'em
third
down.
fight, didn't you get like the fastest knockout of the night or something?
Yeah, I got finish of the night.
Finish of the night.
24-second KO.
24 seconds. How does that feel when like you cause you knocked him out with a kick, right?
Punch.
Oh, it was
Ground
a
and
punch.
pound.
Punch, yeah.
Oh, okay, so
I wish, man.
okay.
That'd be nice. You get to keep
So,
that.
so let me just ask you this: how does it like feel when you're just, he's dead to rights, and you're just socking him?
Yeah.
Like, do you not feel remorse, like no mercy, or
No,
are you
man.
part of the Miyagi Do?
I didn't feel remorse. It's like I was zoned in on that moment, 'cause that person, if they had the chance, they're going to do the same thing to you.
Mm,
So
right.
take advantage
That's
of the
true.
moment you have. So I remember hitting him, and I hit him pretty hard the first time, and his eyes kind of like got wide. I was like, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. And then he kind of went out. So my goal is to get out of there as fast as
Yeah.
I can unscathed. So I don't feel remorse. I did after I talked to him, and I
Sure,
feel
yeah.
for that. I've lost already. I feel for that moment, and it's weeks and months of preparation
Yeah.
for 24 seconds of you getting hurt. So I feel for that kid, and try to inspire him to keep going. And
Mhm.
everybody in the MMA community is so like everybody wants to help each other, and
Sure.
so I don't want to be that guy talking crap and trying to get people not to come back and fight. I want
Yeah.
everybody to keep working and keep going through the growing pains and whatnot. So
Mm.
I don't feel remorse though.
Sure. I guess back to what you were saying, how the MMA community is really nice. Everyone to kind of succeed, but where's like do you have smack talk game at all? Are you working on that? Do you want to incorporate that?
That's not something I thought about yet.
Because it's part of the game.
It is part of the game. When you get to the highest level, you got to do that stuff. And to be seen now these days, you got to make yourself marketable. So I'm not necessarily taking the Colby Covington route yet.
Yeah.
I just want to be authentic. I don't want to talk crap. If someone's talking crap to me or talks about my family, I'll do what feels right. But I don't have any plans to do anything that's out of my my comfort zone in that smack talk era. So, but we're gonna fight. So whatever you say doesn't matter. We're gonna get in the cage and fight. I don't really have anything to say to you.
There you go. Have you ever had any experiences where people were just smack talking you before? Before like one of these professional fights, I'd say.
No, not yet, man.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good. Everybody's been nice. The one
Hitters are nice.
the first kid I fought, they announced his name, and his name was Notorious Nick, and he did the Conor McGregor walk on me.
What?
Come on.
And he had the Notorious.
Yeah.
There?
And I looked back at Dan. I'm like, I'm gonna kill this kid. And he's like, no, he's not he wants you want him to be a shadow. Like, you don't want to look at his face. Like, he's just another body, So, but I'm like, this kid McGregor walked on me. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take him out. So, I don't think about
gosh.
that stuff too much.
Yeah.
I have so much technical stuff I need to work on. It's the last thing on my mind.
Right. Your first fight with that kid, did you finish in the first round, right?
Yeah, minute something. TKO.
Jeez. What's your total cage time right now?
It's
It's got to be pretty low.
less than like 4 minutes.
Not a
first-
full round yet.
Not a full round, man. And like I said, until somebody can stop me from doing what I'm doing, I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
I know I need the experience being in the cage and whatnot, but it's also about getting through it the way you do it. Imposing your game on somebody else. So if you can't stop me from taking you down and beating you up, or doing it on my feet, then I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah. That's your main game plan. Just you have your wrestling as your strength, and you just put on the pressure, make him feel it. You want to bring it to him.
Yeah, I've been training for a year. These guys have been training, a long time, and my striking's just not there yet. I'm realistic about that. I'm working on it every day, but you got to do what got you to the show, right?
Right.
So wrestling is my staple. I'm gonna impose my wrestling until you can stop it, and then I'm gonna keep making you think about it. So
Yeah.
How much more experience do you need until you're gonna transition to pro?
I got my next fight's June 2nd. Probably gonna do that one. All goes according to plan. That one, maybe one more, and then go pro. Start making some money.
Yeah. That's got to be like. I wonder if like that's more nerve-wracking because it's like
Yeah.
amateur. It's like I'm like it's not gonna have like maybe long-term
Yeah.
effects. I guess.
Yeah, no, I understand that. MMA is at such a high level right now. The amateurs were pro ready, a couple
Yeah.
of years ago. So these guys they're training full time too. So it's not like I'm fighting guys who, do
Just
it as a
cans.
hobby or anything. These guys are trying to go pro too. So I fight pros every day.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I know what I'm getting into. I know where I stand, kind of. So
Did you ever see Bo Nichols' one amateur fight?
yeah,
He fought like a plumber.
yeah.
Oh.
Poor guy.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you
But
know
yeah,
you're
you have to
that.
start somewhere.
But
Well-
he's starting way higher than a plumber.
Yeah.
He might have been a
okay.
plumber.
Like
Okay.
a-
They're notorious.
Ay, ay, ay.
But for wrestlers, like, for a guy to accept a fight with Bo Nickel, like, you know how many names the promoter has to go through? Like,
Yeah.
nobody wants to fight a wrestler if you're
Yeah,
not a
that's
good
true.
wrestler. Why would I want to get taken down and beaten up?
Right.
So a lot of these like the promotion I fight for, Ignite, he's a matchmaker for LFA, which is another giant pro promotion. He's like, you're one of the hardest guys we've had try to find a fight. People just don't. They look all-American wrestler. I'd rather not. You know,
Yeah.
just move on to the next guy. So
that makes sense.
Whoever says yes, I'm like, cool. They must know something I don't.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
I don't know. They think they could beat me.
What are your like goals as like long term with MMA? Because clearly, you know, you can't do MMA like forever.
No.
You can kind of stay in the sport, whether it be like broadcasting it or being like just a voice.
Yeah.
Like, where do you see like your competition and then like thereafter?
Yeah, I want to compete as long as my body will allow me. You know, college wrestling takes a toll on your body, and now doing this, I want to get to the highest level. I want to fight for a big pro promotion. I don't really have, doesn't have to be UFC. You know, I'm very open to Bellator or
Yeah.
One or the PFL. Like, these shows are getting good. You know, they're doing a good job of it. So my goal is to do it at the highest level, be the best version of myself as a mixed martial artist I can. Inspire people to get out of the comfort zones and take chances and I want to be involved in the sport, whether it's helping wrestlers transition to MMA or broadcasting or you know, it's fun. It's something I like to do. I'm not putting any stickers or numbers on what I'm doing right now. I'm just going with the flow and working really hard at it.
Yeah.
With the PFL, isn't that like a season thing?
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so UFC, right? You fight all year round, you train all year round.
Yeah.
NFL, you got a season, you get a little time off. There's no time off in MMA. As soon as you finish your fight, it's like, who's next? You know, who you fight next? And you're worrying about another name for the next however long. So I like the PFL
Yeah.
setup.
It's a good idea.
It's a great idea. I think they're doing a good job. They're getting some big names.
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul, man. They said
That's
he's supposed to have his first MMA fight within the year. So
Oh,
What?
seriously?
yeah, PFL.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Holy
Heard it
crap.
here first.
With the PFL, it's like a point system, right? And then
Yeah, I just watched it this past weekend, and they do a regular season. I don't know how many times they fight, but you get a finish, you get 6 points. You win, you get 3 points. They take the top 4, and you go into the playoffs. So
So like a
That's-
video game.
yeah, that's pretty
Dude,
cool.
that's interesting. I
It's
actually have
simple.
never even heard of like anything about it.
This is only like I think this is only like the second season.
yeah,
So,
I mean, they're getting really good. Like Bubba Jenkins.
Yeah.
You know, they're geting some big
Marlon
names.
Marias.
Marlon Marias got starched.
Yeah, he did.
Dude, that Brendan Loughnane is a monster. There's some scary dudes out there, man. But I like the way they're doing it. I think it's smart. It's simple. You get to have a little bit of time off. You know what you're getting into. You know, UFC you could be like 2 weeks, boom. You know, you can't get a fight for 6 months or you know
Yeah.
whatever. It's you know what you're getting into with PFL. So I think it's cool.
Who runs that?
I don't even know.
I'm not sure. I mean, they got a lot of ex-UFC guys involved up top, and I'm pretty sure Jake Paul's like part owner in it.
Mm.
Oh,
now.
seriously?
Yeah. He,
That dude owns everything.
smart man.
Yeah, he's a very young dude.
Yeah, he is.
too.
Hungry.
Yeah.
But yeah, he started like a pay-per-view from in the PFL. So he's gonna cherry pick his fights, and
But he's got to pick
they're
somebody
gonna
that's
be money
interesting.
fights. You know?
Yeah, he does have to pick some, and he's done that. He hasn't had one guy that really wasn't like interesting at the time.
That's true.
Biggest draw.
Do you have any dream like fights like that you see of anyone in any division?
Not really.
Because like I know you said
thinking-
you see across the cage like you just see like a body. You don't see put faces on them.
Yeah.
You don't really have like I'm off to like take this dude out like to
Right.
be that ahead of him. You don't see that way.
I'm just not at that level where I'm like I want to call people out and take people out. I'm just trying to develop my skills to a point where I can compete with the best. So I don't really have any like a dream fight or anything. I want to fight the best of the best, you know, but no one really I'm not gonna call anybody out. Right
All right.
like this amateur calling me out. Get him over here. No.
And you're at 145, right? Featherweight.
Yep.
So how are you making that weight? Like you wrestled 165 in college.
Yeah, it's
But you look skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost some muscle mass, but when you're not lifting as much and you're training boxing and conditioning based stuff, it's just kind of naturally happened. I was working construction, going to training 2 times a day. It kind of fell off, but weight cutting's a little different with MMA.
Yeah.
You get 24 hours to rehydrate and whatnot. I do the water load process, so I'm drinking a couple gallons of water a day. The week of my fight, I'm in a caloric deficit. And just slowly working my way down, water load, and then like the last day or two, I'm draining all the water. So practice with a sauna suit, lose 5-6 pounds. Next day I'll do sauna, and like my last 2 times I've weighed in, I lost 5 pounds in the sauna in an hour, and then went straight to weigh-ins.
Holy cow. That's...
Have you ever sat in one of those like the box
The portable saunas?
where your head is just sticking out?
No, I haven't done those. The real saunas will do the job.
Yeah. Have you done the cut where it's like you lay on the ground and have all the towels
With
on?
towels on, yeah.
Those are like the ones I feel like you see the most, or at least on social
Yeah.
media you see those a lot.
That's true.
Yeah, it's just another way to keep your sweat going after
Yeah.
you're out of the sauna or whatever. So, luckily I've just kind of sucked it up and stayed in the sauna an extra 15 minutes and laid on the ground where it's not as hot, but my sweat's still going.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. It's just like learn the process. You know what works, what doesn't work. My last couple weight cuts have been really good. I put on like 13 pounds in a couple hours. Was my last one.
Oh my.
I could jump on the scale like holy smokes, that's crazy.
Is there any weight cutting like technique like you just do not want to do?
I just do what works for me. Like I'm not a huge fan of the baths.
The bat,
Like
like
the
the
salt
salt.
baths?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know like it works, but I've seen a lot of people where they're like they lose their legs or whatever. The sauna's been working for me. I do sauna every day, so I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah.
Lose their legs?
Yeah, I looked at Crosby.
Just
Wait,
fall
these
off.
dudes are just...
They just leave them in the tub.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Oh, that's
Okay, interesting. I wouldn't
Um,
want to do that either.
No, they just like it kind of took the life out of their legs. You know, you have like jello legs.
Yeah.
I just heard like doing that the night before. Just done it to some people, and I don't really feel like I'm losing a lot of weight in the bath, so I just stick with what works.
Yeah, makes
Work,
sense.
working out, sauna.
Yeah. Nice.
Keep it light.
Yeah.
What do you walk around at right now?
165-ish. I got a little heavy.
You got a big cut.
Cut.
Yeah, you got a
Gotta
big
cut.
cut
That's
still.
crazy. I don't know how he can lose 20 more pounds
Yeah,
from
that's
this.
crazy.
I didn't think I could do it. I'm like, where is it gonna come from? No, I don't have a lot of body fat. Just the way I've been doing it, it's been working, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised about it just as you guys are too. But
When you're doing it, do you feel like it's like an out of body like experience? Like sometimes like when I'm cutting weight and when I'm wrestling, it's like I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just shooting, and
right.
I don't even know how I'm still like standing up and taking this dude down. Like
Yeah, you're just like kind of dialed in zombie mode or whatever. It's like my face will get all sucked out, and my wife is like super scared. Like, are you okay? Like, but yeah, like I said, my energy's been good the last couple times. I don't have a huge time getting up and walking around or doing that, so it's been good. Just keep it going that way. I don't want to.
yeah.
Does eating after, like, is it different? Like, obviously you cut weight in college, right?
Yeah.
So you get a go-to snack, I'm guessing, after like a college weight cut. Is it different now? Like, can you not eat right away, or is it like, how does that work?
Like with anything, I just try to rehydrate as much as I
Okay.
can right away. Eat some fruit, peanut butter and jelly or something like that. Get some carbs in me, and then I've done like a steak and a little bit of pasta. But last time I had a pasta salad. I don't really have anything specific. I kind of structured my diet to be more streamlined, so I'm not eating anything out of the ordinary that I don't eat like the week of or anything. So
Yeah.
pasta, carbs, eggs, meat, no like sugars or not too much bread or anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then earlier off the podcast, we were talking about picks for this weekend for the UFC event.
Yes, sir.
So who do you got for the Masvidal Burns fight?
I got Burns, man. He's a dog.
Yep.
He's
yep.
a dog.
What about the fourth fight? Adesanya and Pereira?
You know what's crazy is that Adesanya is still the favorite. It's like,
Yeah.
why are you guys doing this to this scary, scary man? Someone's gonna win a lot of money. I got Izzy. It's hard to bet against him, man.
Yeah.
He's one of the best to ever do it. Like he controlled. Like they fought 4 times, right? Or this will be the 4th.
Yeah.
He's won the majority of the rounds.
Yeah.
You know, he's won most of the fight. Pereira's just got his number, man. I don't know what it is, but I think it's a cool, like, it's good on Izzy, man, for taking it again.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's just got your number. You're like, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it again. He wants to beat him, so he has that fire now, where he's lost in MMA versus him, and he wants it back. So he's gonna be hungry.
I mean, that's got to be one of the craziest storylines in like
Crazy.
all of MMA. I don't know
like
if
a
I don't,
movie.
Dude,
I don't think Kane knows it. So basically, they fought twice in kickboxing, and the first time Pereira won by decision, and I think it was controversial.
Yeah, like Pereira got knocked down, and they like gave him an extra amount of time or something.
It was weird.
Um,
And then the second fight, Izzy hurt him pretty bad, and I think, they gave him time at the end. Round ended, and then the next round, Pierre like knocked him out cold with a left hook, and he has the deadliest left hook, out of anybody on the planet probably.
that Strickland highlight where that check hook, like holy smokes!
It's
He's
insane.
got such like heavy hands. We were at the boxing gym today earlier, and I was hitting the bag, and I was like, he throws them from his hip, like, and they're just so heavy. They just like they keep coming. Like it's a interesting technique, but he's a scary dude.
Yeah.
He's a scary dude.
And then the third fight in MMA, I'm pretty sure it was going in the 5th round. Izzy was clearly up 3-1.
Yeah.
And with like a minute and a half left, Pierre knocked him out again.
What?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
3 fight. Izzy's won the majority of the rounds. And he's clearly like a more technical striker.
Yeah. I mean, he almost finished him in the second round or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Izzy.
Yeah.
And like you give that guy 15 more seconds, hopefully he's stopping him. So
Yeah.
I think he'll pull it out. I don't know. Fighting's so hard to bet on. Like anything could happen.
Yeah.
They injuries. They have some,
You a big better?
No, I don't bet at all.
Really?
I don't do it. You guys?
No.
We can't.
No.
We can't.
I wouldn't even eat either way because like I feel like I'd always lose. Like
I'd bet on some MMA if I could.
Yeah. I just think it's so hard to bet on. Like people always ask me like, oh, who should I pick? Who should I pick? And I'll give you what I think, and then like someone will get knocked out or something crazy will happen. And you're like, this is why I don't bet.
Yeah.
So I've seen a thing with wrestling on someone's, I don't know who said this, but they think that, I think it was Karstraki, right? He said wrestling would be a lot bigger if people were allowed to bet on it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Why can't they?
Yes, and what do you think about that?
I think that's true. It's a true statement. People are feigning, man. Betting is like sports books and Barstool. Like that's just kind of the culture right now. Everybody's into it. I think it would help.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the right answer is for wrestling to get the attention it deserves, but I think betting would help.
Yeah.
Caden just posted, or I guess we just posted a little clip bashing on Flow Wrestling.
Yeah, I see
Sure.
that.
Yep. And it got a lot of attention. Like a lot of people agreed with it, that like Flow's kind of monopolizing and they don't do a good job of what they're actually doing.
It's been so weird, like what they've been doing. Like you hear bad things about people who've worked there, and the guys that kicked out. You're like, they're good at their job.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Something fishy.
Yeah.
That's why I want to fire more back at Flow, but I feel like I don't have
Yeah.
enough ammo. And,
Yeah.
and I know there's stuff, but it's like.
I was seeing
missing.
comments that they pocket like all the money. Like nothing really goes back into it.
I could see that.
I could do it.
But I don't know for
Look
sure,
at the
so.
quality of their cameras, dude. There needs to be like
Yeah.
it's in like 144p.
Dude, and their announcers. You hear them like screaming into the mic, and it's
Yeah.
like the most like destroyed mic you've ever heard in your life.
I don't. Their bracket system on the website was horrible for a long time too. I don't know since
Yeah.
they bought
Well,
track.
yeah, I think their whole like every time I go on my phone and for these Flow tournaments, it's so hard and it's so laggy.
Yeah.
Like there's no way they couldn't make it better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they upgrade or they upcharge every year, and it's like, but you still want to buy it because you want to get.
Yeah,
those
I mean you
couple
have
pieces of
to. You
content.
have to.
Yeah,
It's just like
I don't know. Someone
it-
needs to get in the arena.
Yeah.
I
That
guess.
space. So
They do a pretty good job with the little short films.
Yeah.
yeah, I thought those were cool.
Yeah.
Wrestlers, ex-wrestlers, I think we all banded together and formed something and did it for the people. Something could happen. But
It's time.
They got it locked down for now.
It's time. The Clash of
'em.
Combat takeover.
Get him.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Well, I wanted to ask you again with back in the room, Shane Gantz, both 165 runner-up.
Yep.
Have you guys ever wrestled together or no?
Yeah, I wrestled Shane a lot. He was freshman or sophomore when I was here. Just a workhorse. Just
Yeah.
a dude who comes at you, tough, strong, conditioning. Like he's got it all.
Yeah.
He's got it all.
He does.
Yeah, I was just talking to him a little bit. You know, it's a tough spot for him. It's adversity that you put your whole life into. You know, like to lose in the national finals and then to come back and to battle an injury and not do what he set out to do is tough. You know, I feel for him. I've been in his position.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I don't like think about the match every day, or you know, I just kind of use that as fuel going forward and what you learned from it. You know, it didn't happen to you; it happened for you. Like it happened for a reason. You know, you're meant for something bigger, or that's supposed to change you in some way. So, don't take life too serious, man. You know the person you are. You know the people you inspired. You know how hard you worked. It's just an accolade. You know, none of that matters. It's about who you touch and who you inspire and the friendships and the journey. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
As I look back, I'm like, none of that mattered. You know,
Sure.
being the All-American, whatever, it was nice, but you missed the people, you missed the camaraderie and all that. So don't get too focused on this one thing. You know, just have fun, wrestle your hardest. Good things will happen. So.
Yeah.
Did it suck or at first for you? Like
Oh,
what?
it's horrible.
Like you weren't?
course.
Were you not happy with it at all? The taking second?
I was really disappointed with like how it went. So if you don't know,
Yeah. Give us a little match breakdown.
So Clint Poster, St. Cloud kid, he was the guy that year. He'd pinned me in like 30 seconds earlier in the year. My only loss. He ended up losing in like the semis, and I had a couple tough matches, but I was like, oh, I could, you know, this is my tournament.
Yeah.
And made it to the finals. Maybe I was like happy to be there kind of thing, but I think he got me in a cradle. Like I was on my butt, got me in a cradle in like the first minute or something. Reversed him. We were back on our feet. Towards the edge of the mat, I went to like pass an ankle, and he kind of put his butt into me and like sat me down, and they called it a defensive pin.
Wait, what? That's how it happened?
Yeah.
In the first period?
First period.
Oh.
And I got up, we both got up, and we're like, oh. And then he like started celebrating like 15 seconds, you know.
Oh my gosh.
So he didn't even know he won.
No, to call the pin was wild. I had refs come up to me after, which is even worse. And Angel,
Yeah.
he's like, I don't agree with that. I don't think that was right. I just want to let you know, good job, blah, blah, blah. So to hear it from other refs was like,
Oh man.
I wish I had a fair shot, or, you know, it didn't happen that way. But like I said, it didn't happen to me. It happened for me. So it sucked the way that happened. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Do you
Life
think
goes on.
if you didn't get pinned, you would have won that match?
Yeah, I had some steam, man. Like I said, he had me in a cradle. I reversed him. I was feeling good. We were scrambling a little bit. I think I had the momentum in the match. Like I said, anything could happen, but I would have liked my chances.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It burns every day, but
Absolutely.
whatever.
I remember this summer, I always just seen you post on your stories just running, always,
Oh,
like with the
yeah.
stroller.
Forgot
and,
about
and
that.
so I don't think I told you this, but that was the reason, like what motivated me to run more, and that's why I did my marathon, is because every morning he would post like 12 miles, he's like pushing a stroller. I'm like, bro, what
At like
is
5
this?"
a.m.,
At like
right?
yeah, so early. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is when I decided to get into MMA, and I was like, I hated running. I hated running in college. I just wasn't a runner, and my knees are no good. And then I started like leaning into everything that I hated to do. I was like, I'm gonna do that until I love it, you know. So I just started running. Started out with a mile, 2 miles, whatever. And I'm like, then it's just a mental battle, you know. And you did like a marathon, so I'm sure you know. Like, it's just a mental battle. And I was like, okay. I was working construction at the time, so I was up at 5:30, leaving the house at 5:30. So I was like, I have to run at like 4. So I'd get up, run 5 miles, go to work, go to practice, get home at 8 or 9. And then I just kind of like fell in love with running, like that runner's high.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So I just kept challenging myself to get up, and then I was holding myself more accountable by posting it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I had other people say like, oh, that's awesome. Like it inspired me to run or whatever. And that kind of meant more to me than just me running. So I was like, I'm glad people are seeing you can do it no matter what your schedule's like, or everybody can run, you know? And if you hate to do it, do it. If you're scared to do it, do it. So I just started running, and I was like, I'm glad it inspired some people.
Yeah.
You reposted a lot of people taking you on
Yeah,
that.
there was a ton.
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
That's kind of my like goal with posting anything. I was like, I hope this touches somebody else, or I hope that someone gets something from this. I don't want people to think, oh, he's running, he's cool, or whatever. Like, I want them to be like, oh, I feel a little guilt maybe, or like, I should do that. Like, they know I should be doing that. So I just hope it inspired other people to do it.
Yeah.
That was the goal. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Or you weren't running in the morning with Caden, I bet.
No, he was
I
not.
did a half marathon this
Yeah,
summer.
I did a half marathon 2 days before my
yeah.
marathon.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
How'd it go?
Good.
Okay, whoa. His
You're
marathon.
gonna talk crap. This is not okay because it was done in 1 day.
His marathon, it wasn't a straight up, I'm going to run 26 miles through. It was I'm going to run half marathon. I'm going to go stop at McDonald's and get a
that was
coffee.
that was 2 miles in. Because, that was part of the series on YouTube. I had to get a coffee every single day. Because I just, I had to do it. And,
He still did it. He still got the full marathon.
I did it.
Yeah.
But that's
awesome.
true. When I was thinking about that, I'm like, I know Crosby always talks crap to me about this and other things, but, I might have to do another marathon again, so.
Do it. How'd the training go for all that? Like, how was it?
Well, it was a week. So,
crazy.
I mean, yeah.
It just goes to show you what your body can do.
Yeah, no, it's so crazy. And I, like looking back, people are saying, and I look at videos of people just training like a month, 2.5 months out of like their whole schedule and like a couple miles a day. I'm like, bro, like, I don't know. I just ran more miles like on day 1, then more on day 2, more on day 3, 4, 5. And then 5 was the half marathon. 6, I just had a rest day. I was finally just rested up.
Yeah.
I had like so much pasta, pancakes, just carb loaded up. And then, woke up at like 5 a.m., ran a marathon, got done around like maybe 2, 3, something. But
Were you toast after that? Like,
no, I was fine like the rest of the day. I was more hurt, I think, after my half marathon. But during the marathon when I was running, my like hips like kind of locked and I didn't know how to move my legs.
Yeah,
Have you ever had that?
dragging them along?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. But
Yeah,
When I did the half marathon, when at like mile 10, I had like cramps like in my, like right above my knee on both legs.
like you see it twitching, you're like, what's
Yeah.
happening down there?
And that sucked. But
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine doing another 13 miles after that.
We should do it. Let's run a marathon
Yeah.
this summer.
heck yeah. Well, Crosby's always talk about like mud runs too, or like different like.
Oh yeah, we wanted
I want to do one of those.
Yeah, or like what are they called? Like the Warrior.
the Tough Mudder.
Tough Mudder.
Mudders,
Okay.
yeah.
Have you done one of those?
No, but like this summer I was listening to all these podcasts and they're like, Brendan Schwab was like, I'm coming to Chicago and I'm doing it. Come meet me in Rockford. I'm like, no. But yeah, I was like, why not?
Wait, like did this already happen?
Yeah, I think he does it like every summer. He gets like, I forget what they call it, the thick mudder or something.
That'd be pretty cool to see him.
Yeah, he's got a nice
Brendan
little following.
Schwab. You know that? He's on Joe Rogan sometimes. MMA.
He's
fighter,
a
ex-MMA.
ex-UFC guy, yeah. He's got a decent pod.
Oh, does he?
The
He's
Schwab
like
Show.
he's like 6 podcasts.
Yeah, he's a workaholic, man. So yeah, I would like to do a Tough Mudder or something. Just something different to see what you can do.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
That'd be fun.
Book it.
We'll post it here on the Clash of Combat podcast after the Tough Mudder, all
Yes.
mudded out.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's do it.
So back in the gym with you, we saw you post that you were working with Belal Muhammad.
Yeah. He trains at Chicago Fight Team, where I train, and every Friday he has a small group, and they'd asked us to join in the last couple times, and it's awesome to work with guys like that.
Yeah.
You know, he's such a student of the sport, like, and he works so hard. So it's just cool to be around somebody working that hard and chasing something so passionately, and just to be a little bit involved in his process and his story. It's fun rounds, man. They have fun. Like, you're not trying to hurt anybody. It's we did like 15 rounds of sparring, and
15 rounds.
Yeah.
What? One,
Yeah.
like go?
like couple minute rounds. We did 15 of them, and like staying for a couple would sit out or whatever, and it's fun. He's a good dude, and I'm grateful to be in the same gym with him.
Yeah. You can tell. So he like kind of recently started, talking a lot of crap,
You got to
But
do what you got to do to
You
get
can
that.
tell that he's a good guy talking crap.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not trying to like, but he talks crap about your boy.
Colby. Yeah, but
Colby's not a
Colby
good
goes.
dude.
He's not. He goes to the extreme.
He goes for the
extreme.
jugular.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bilal's not a bad dude. You got to do it like I said. You got to do what you got to do to get your money fight. You know, you got to build up your following. And Colby had to do the trash talk thing, and he's got to call people out and do something different to get his name in the hat.
Yeah.
He deserves it. So I hope he gets it.
Yeah. Does he do his full camp in Chicago?
Yeah, he trains at Valley Flow Striking, which is a little bit north of Chicago, and then does the Chicago Fight Team. They go to the UFC gym near my house on Sundays. I go over there every once in a while and roll with them. But he travels a lot to Vegas. He corners people.
Yeah.
He trains all over the place. So
He's
always
got to be
working.
next in line.
Gotta be.
9-fight unbeaten streak or win streak.
I hate that they gave him that Shavkat Rakhmonov, whatever
Is that happening?
that they want to give him. I hate that they're doing that to him because he just kind of chopped down the young buck that was coming up and Sean Brady.
I still think he beats him though.
He beats Shavkat?
Yeah.
I think so too. But he's aiming for Usman or Colby, and I think the Usman one is more realistic.
Yeah.
I think Colby's not going to fight unless he gets that.
But you hear that he's getting it.
Yeah, I mean, Dana said it straight up.
Yeah.
He's like, he's getting it, and he was the gatekeeper for how many years?
I know.
So, I'm not like super upset that he gets the fight. Just the way it all went down with the lawsuit about a brain injury, and then you're gonna fight in a cage. Like
Yeah.
there's something shady going on there. The UFC had to like tell him to drop the charges. Hey, drop
Oh,
the
yeah.
charges, and we'll give you the title fight.
For
you
sure.
know, for that to just go away was something happening behind the scenes.
Did you see that Masvidal just said this week that he's gonna like sue him for saying that he had brain injury if he signs the fight?
What?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
I don't know.
That's just
For
messy.
like false claims or
Yeah.
something.
It's a sketchy world we live in.
It's
Yeah.
messy. It's like
But you also
fight.
shouldn't go around sucker punching people.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild behavior. We'll see what happens with that division. It's still exciting. I hated to see Usman go out the way he did.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Luke Reinish, national runner-up, was a guy who was here when I got here. Lost to Usman in the national finals.
No way.
Wait,
From
seriously?
Parkside?
Yep.
What? I never knew
From
this.
Parkside?
Usman was a Nebraska Kearney guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Reinish lost to him in the national finals.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is
I did
pretty
not know
cool.
that.
Little Parkside claim to fame.
Yeah. Wow.
Was Usman a one time? Just he won that one?
I think so. I don't know.
Did you see
One
the Staraki
Yeah.
call out on him?
Man, he's coming for everybody.
Dude. I don't get how that works.
He's like the only guy in college wrestling right now that's literally throwing shade, I guess, on that level.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you see how Bo Nickal's success, and you can't deny, like,
It works.
maybe he can back up what he's saying.
For sure. And I think he could do that to a lot of those guys, but I think you just got to have that respect going into a new arena. There's two ends of the sword. Like, he's getting all this pop from his name, calling out all these guys, and they're going to be talking about him now, and his name's going to be in a lot of conversations, but not a lot of people are going to like you, man.
Mm.
So it's cool when you're cool with a lot of the people, you
Yeah.
know, to be have a good relationship with those guys, but calling them out, you better be careful what you wish for, you know. He called out some big names, so
Yeah, he did.
I don't doubt he can have a very good amount of success very early, but we'll see.
Does he have another year of eligibility?
I think
Maybe.
so.
He could be a four-timer. Brooks, maybe four-timer. I don't even know.
I don't know either.
So.
Just
What's COVID year messed everything up. You're like, how
Yeah.
long are you guys wrestling
Yeah,
for?
seriously.
Apparently now there might be 8 years,
Yeah.
apparently.
8-time All-American. Like, what? You're 32,
That's-
dude.
That's
go
weird.
go do something else. These kids are 20.
yeah.
Not even.
So before I ask this, I want to give some background on your. Oh wait, no, you weren't on the team in 2018, were you? Your last year's
I was
2016.
coaching, so no.
How do you think that team? Let's say just 2016 team, 'cause you guys still had a good team then. How do you think that team would compare to our team this year?
You guys got some killers, man. Some young killers. I really like what's going on here. Like, to see a core group of guys, freshmen, sophomores, have so much time together. You guys are gonna be scary in a couple of years. But we are just tough, man. We're tough. Just take you guys out.
Do you have any like stories from practices? Like, coach just said something at practice, and you've never done this before, and it was just like the hardest practice you've ever had in your entire life?
Ooh, ooh.
Because we got some stories.
Yeah, Nick's not afraid to work you guys to the bone, but we had some morning practices like they kind of knew like we went out like the night before
Sure.
Thanksgiving. Everyone goes on break, and so we got in one year, and it was like all the ex-alumni were here, like all the All-Americans, and we did 30-minute grind matches. And they just put us through the ringer for like we did 2 back-to-back 30-minute grind matches and just got
Oh, wait, what?
Back-to-back?
dude. Yeah.
That
So that was like I'll remember that forever. I just remember being like, these guys are fresh. They love that they're beating up on us.
yeah.
That the grind matches were tough, but stories, man. There's been some fights in here that awesome.
Been a part of?
I mean, I throw a couple shots. If someone's like annoying me or trying to hurt me or something, like these young, like when I was a junior or senior, some freshman coming in, was like doing something shady or like wasn't wrestling me. I'd give them a little bit, a little extra. But I've never hurt anybody. Like, this is my team. I'm not gonna. But there's been some fights in here for sure. Hands thrown. We had some scary dudes in here.
Jeez.
It was just different group of guys. Like, I don't know. We had some street guys,
Sure.
and that just clashes, guys who think they're good, and there's been some wars in here, but I'd like to hear your guys's.
Yeah, I mean, first off, we got whitewater practices.
Yeah.
That's
Win or lose. Win
or lose. We have probably one of the toughest practices of the year, and clearly from
After?
After the
Okay.
whitewater.
Yeah.
And so I guess recounting back on when Nick's first year, his first duel, we lose
You
to a
guys
D3
lost.
team,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. I was like, ooh, Nick.
and we came back, and
I think it was literally the next day.
it was the next day, of course. And Nick recorded the sound of the crowd of the whitewater, and he played this during our practice and just ran us. Did all these types of like back bridges, just live goes again, sprint.
Well, it started with, I think we did like 5 matches, but there's no clock.
Yeah.
Like, it was just straight 7 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the worst too, and you don't know when it's ending.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, in this one, I think it was over 2 hours. Yes or no?
I think it was around
Yes, it
2
was
hours.
over 2 hours.
And
For
that-
sure, it had to.
And we
You weren't
never
here.
go that long.
Were you
Yeah,
here?
it was. The whitewater practice? You
Oh,
kidding me?
man. I don't know how
I was
old
sick
you
that
are.
day.
Not bad. No, talk about getting sick. I broke out in herpes the next day of how hard it was.
oh no.
Yes.
Your body's just like down.
Yes. And I guess there was just another practice. How you said 2 30-minute grind matches. Nick just told us at the beginning of practice, you pick a guy for live, and you go until one of you quits.
Love that.
So that could go on forever.
Love that.
And Crosby's already shaking his head.
Were you with Nick?
No.
No.
Just with him.
Okay,
He
I had Jalen on our team, Spuler, right? And he just beat the piss out of me for long
Something
time.
goes
It was
that
like an hour and a
long,
half.
it's
It was,
exhausting.
yeah.
It's
So
like-
we ended up lasting just an hour and a half. Everyone was done. Neither of us were really. I wasn't gonna quit for sure. And eventually,
He was just annoyed.
yeah.
Because he probably had an
No.
hour of riding time on Caden.
No, maybe 30.
World
minutes.
record
No,
for riding
maybe
time.
40 minutes, maybe. But
But Caden just wouldn't quit, and then he took him
yeah.
down like 3 times at the end, and Jalen was like, all right, screw
yeah,
this.
because there's different routes you could take. You could have been beating the guy up and said, "All right, I'm done."
Yeah.
Like-
yeah. I mean, it forces you to learn about yourself, to not quit or whatever it is. But that's awesome. To even take that beating for that so long, and just to be there and like
That was
give
such
me
an
more.
experience.
It's
Do they do anything like that in probably not MMA because that's just you might have that in your fights, like
yeah, they'll do it like where you'll be the guy in, and they'll just send fresh guys in to take you down.
Oh, okay.
And just pummel you. But no, I remember Craig would do that like at the end of practice with guys who maybe did something wrong or weren't getting the grades or whatever. He would just get up and just like keep beating them, dude, just beating them. And we'd all go shower and walk back and like,
They're
holy
still
shit,
going.
they're still going,
how do you think Craig is so good when he was literally bloodstream is Mountain Dew?
I tell this to everybody. The funniest thing in the world, he had Diet Mountain Dew in his water bottle in the national finals. Like, dude
What?
did not drink water.
Yeah, I don't think he does. I don't think he still does.
Wait, when he was wrestling it?
Yeah,
What?
national finals.
What?
Diet Mountain Dew.
Dude.
That
He's
is
just built
gnarly.
different, dude. He's built different. And just like so strong,
Yeah.
doesn't work out, and like, why is this guy so strong?
Yeah.
And just like beats you. Craig was so instrumental in my development. Just like if you can wrestle Craig and escape or score on him, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would beat some guys down.
He's still beating guys down.
It's crazy.
He's got to be over
Putting
30,
dudes in
right?
leg
Or 30.
cradles.
Yeah.
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 Jeez.
He's one of the best people I ever wrestled.
When you were
Him
in
and Nick.
college, did you do like back bridges? Like
Mm.
this is a part of like the whitewater practice.
Okay.
It's like you go on your back and you have to like hold up on a back bridge.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
After
Yeah.
so much live and so much sprints, that is maybe the worst thing.
And he don't
especially when people heads are just falling down. And he's like, oh, up again, up
Yeah.
again.
Like the heavyweights can't even get their heads off the mat. And it's like I'm not starting until everybody's up. And it's
Yeah, Nick. He don't play no games, man. He's that's what I like. He's like that's why you guys are having the success you're having because you have those moments in practice. Like
Mhm.
people aren't working that hard.
yeah.
Some teams aren't doing that. It's elevates your game. You as a person, you as a wrestler. So I'm glad he's doing that to you guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Wow,
It's Parkside's got a special place in my heart.
For sure.
that's good.
It was
Were
a
you
lot
here?
different when I was here. I was just telling Samuel, I was like, the weight room was a jail cell, dude. It was like a corner of the room, all white brick, rusted weights,
Mm.
nothing new. And like going on my recruiting visit, I'm like, I loved working out. I'm like, that doesn't look like a place I want
Yeah.
to work out.
Yeah. How'd you even get here? Like, why'd you choose here? Because I saw on your Instagram what this room looked like before,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't think I would have came here if it looked like that.
I was just telling Ronnie too. The mats were hard. They were old. It was freezing in here. Like to even break a sweat would be like you need 20
It was
minutes.
freezing in here.
Freezing.
That's weird to think.
And then like the water heater was broke in the showers. So like over winter break.
Still
we'd
kind of
take
is.
cold
Still kind of
showers.
is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad that hasn't changed. But I was like, you remember those? I just take a cold shower. I chose Parkside. Dan, he had met Mike Magawa, who was starter here for a long time, lived near us, and he went on a visit. Coach Cook and Craig contacted me. Me and Dan came on a visit, and I rolled with these guys, and they were very good at the time. They were coming off a 5th place finish or something. They're ranked like 2nd in the country coming in like my freshman year,
Yeah.
and just had a bunch of hammers around my weight. And I'm like, it was close to home, not too close, not too far.
Mhm.
Good, like I liked everybody on the team, and just felt right. So I signed, and then our head coach Greg Lewis at the time was like, he was working a job. So like he was here for a practice and he'd leave. Like he wasn't really a coach.
Head coach.
Yeah.
So it was like a
It was a
part-time head
part-time
coach.
position,
Interesting.
and he didn't like. I shouldn't say he didn't care, but like he wasn't like an asset for the team.
Mm.
Craig was basically running the show, and then I just kind of gravitated towards Craig. Like Craig, anything I could do. I stayed over the summers, and after a year, that whole class was like, we're gonna leave next year, right? We're not staying here, and a lot of kids ended up leaving. I just ended up staying, and then it worked out, and then. Like I stuck around with Craig, and things started picking up. Nick transferred in, and we got some good recruiting classes. And I was like in that era where we were really good, and then we were like I kept us stringing along, a little bit of success here, and then it got really good after I left, which happened to me in high school too.
Really?
Wow.
Like my high school team was 3-time state champs, #1 in the country. I come in my freshman year, ranked #1 or 2 in the country, and we lose in the regional. Like,
Jeez.
and then so we don't place that year. The next year we take like 3rd. We lose in team sectionals to Oak Park River Forest, who had the Dardanes brothers, Ellis Coleman, like loaded team. Almost beat them. But we just never won a state championship while I was there. Year I left, they get all these transfer or like new guys, and they're back-to-back
Jeez.
state champs. So I just kind of strung it along kept it rolling for the teams.
So you
Who's that
did
guy?
you go to high school in Illinois?
Yeah.
What was your high school career like individually?
Just a one-time qualifier, one-time placer. I wasn't a big recruit.
Really?
I was thinking about walking on at U of I. Loris was an option. And then, yeah, I took 4th once. I lost to Evan Cooper, who's a stud. I don't know. I got so much better once I got here. Like,
Mhm.
maybe not the first year, but I started rolling with Craig, and like I kind of fell back in love with wrestling. Like, I was like, I like this, and I started scrambling and whatnot. So fell back in love with it, and then I got really good. And that's what, like, I tell all these guys, like, just fall in love with the process, fall in love with the training, and you're gonna see the success. When it's like a drag, you're like, I don't want to go to practice. Like, you're just going through the motions, getting through things. I found a lot of success when I just like fell back in love with wrestling. So it was nice.
Is there ever a day right now where you don't want to go to like the gym?
Most days.
Really?
Yeah, it's you know, like I said, I got a family, and some days that just body hurts or whatever, and you got things going on and you don't want to go. But those are the times, and sometimes you have the best practices. You just kind of force yourself to go. When you don't have the motivation, like it's like a quote. I mean, you can't stay disciplined, stay consistent. So I just try to stay consistent. I go to practice every day, 2 times a day if I can. So
It's a grind.
you got to get through those days, and that's a part of being successful in anything. You can't only train when you feel good or when you feel like training. You have to train like and inspire people to train when they don't feel like it. So that's a huge part of getting through the ebbs and flows of life. Like, you're not always gonna feel good, so just keep it, stay consistent.
Yeah.
I think we're at that time,
Yeah, I
huh?
think
We're in
we
deep
are.
waters.
I think it's time to give you your little gift over here.
So shout out to Shoe Shop. Brady, shoe behind the camera. Brady, come back here. Come back here. Into the pod. Customized Clash of Combat, made truly by B Shoe. Say anything to the camera, Brady.
Impressive.
It's an honor.
The honor's all mine.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Number 2.
It's heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
is. It is.
Sweet.
It's sick.
I have to move some plants around in my house, and it's going right on the mantle.
For sure.
My wife will love it.
Do you have any closing remarks? Anything to inspire the youth? Inspire people watching?
Just do what you like to do and work really hard at it. Don't take life too serious. You know, all this like quotes thing that kind of stick with me. It's like just have fun in what you're doing, and the success will come. So work hard, good things will happen.
For sure.
Thank you guys for having me on. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for
This was
making the
fun.
drive.
I'm honored to be the second guest.
Yes.
I mean, it's tough to follow up Gable Stevenson, but
Yeah, we didn't.
You came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that-
you were
okay.
supposed to be the first guest.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Cool.